So tell me, first of all, how you feeling today, huh?
I'm tired. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very tired.
And why are you tired?
I'm tired because 7 days ago I was almost dead, and I know I'm pushing my body, but because I got called to do something that it's more of a quest for me at this point, and that's to talk to young kids and help young developing minds achieve the greatest of the great.
Amen.
I mean, but I'm tired because my body ain't right. But, you know, and I'm also tired because I was just talking to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders about entrepreneurship.
Okay, so what was basically like the summarization of your message to them?
The message was to do it. I mean, the message was don't just go work for somebody and do nothing with that. Use those resources, use those skills that you acquire to get what you want to get. You don't necessarily have to go into competition with who you work for, but if you have a skill within that trade, become an entrepreneur and brand yourself within that. If it's something outside of that business, which is even better because then your employer won't feel threatened, develop that skill, develop that trade so you can actually take care of your family when and if, probably so, that job ends or they downsize or they compromise your position. So it was talking about that with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, people who are well away from having to worry about careers, but ain't nobody teaching that to these kids in public schools. Nobody's even teaching it to them in private schools. Who's getting taught these things are the affluent. Who's getting taught these things are the Arabs,
Yeah.
Indians, the Asians, because they have that money and they have those businesses in our neighborhoods. So they're teaching their own kids to go out and do those things. And even if they don't teach those kids to do those things, they have enough resources to send them to the great schools. We were just at a school today, 300 kids, I think they said, in the whole school.
Yep.
I had 600 kids in my graduating class. Then there was 600 kids across town in the graduating class. Then there was another couple hundred at community high school. So we put together 1,000 graduating kids in one city. At that school, there's only 300 kids in the whole school.
Right.
So that means that they're in such a small environment that a certain percentage of them kids aren't gonna make it out. And it's gonna be the larger percentage to the ones who do. So we've gotta give them opportunities and we gotta give them, you know, alternatives to being a football, basketball, baseball player, a musician, a singer, you know, whatever. We got to give them that. The first thing that starts with is entrepreneurship. A lot of them kids know things that they didn't know about entrepreneurship from me, from you, from Jessica, even from the Detroit police officers. You know, they know something different about going out and taking advantage of what you were supposed to do. You know, I mean, and they know something about the world now other than what they see every day, which unfortunately isn't a whole lot.
Right. Okay, so how did you like the feedback from the kids and the questions they were asking and stuff like that?
The feedback was a little overwhelming because I didn't know exactly what to expect. You gotta understand, I'm from Ann Arbor. I'm on the east side of Detroit. You know, I'm with some straight in the hood kids, but these kids are just kids.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know I'm gonna come off as a square. I know I'm gonna come off as an L7, whatever they wanna say. You know, a nerd or this, that, and the other. But I think I rocked them.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I rocked them. I mean, I had them laughing in their seat, falling out their chairs, doing whatever. And when I needed to get their attention, I got it. I got it because I know who I am to a child. I know what I am to a child. And the feedback was ridiculous because the kids are ridiculous. Toons had to get in a couple of them's ass a little bit, you know, when they got out of pocket. But that wasn't my job to do. I was just there as a guest speaker. But what did I do when Toons walked out the room? Because they knew that Baba O was gone, they could cut up a little bit. I said, hey. And it, you know, it was like they heard a voice. And that's what these kids need too. They need that male voice.
They need that voice, no doubt.
He said, I think a few years ago, it was just 5 of them, something like that, some crazy number. Only a few brothers in the program. Come on now, we have more than that. They came down today just to speak. And the big thing is these kids need to see grown men, grown black men in a positive light.
Yeah.
They don't always need to see us down their throat. They don't always need to see them handcuffing them. They don't always need to see them in a role where they're subservient to that person. That's why I like it that they don't say sir and ma'am.
Right.
They say Baba and Mama.
Or Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Sir, you know, sir and man. No, Baba and Mama. It's a father, it's a mama role, but it's with reverence and kinship. And that's what these kids need. They need more brothers and sisters out here taking care of them than mamas and daddies. Because the mama and daddy probably done failed them at this point. Let's be honest.
Right.
Most of these kids are in single-parented homes over here because they're not preaching that anymore in the black community either. They're not talking about stay together, build families, this, that, and the other. Just hit it and quit it. Then she's pregnant, and then you can pay some child support, or maybe not. Maybe you can come see your kid, or maybe not. They're not talking about that. And what we bring, we're bringing some solidity to them. We're letting them know you are more than what anybody's telling you are right now. You're not a 6th grader. You're not a 7th grader. You're not an 8th grader. You are a brand. You are an enterprise. You are an entrepreneur. We didn't think as many kids was going to come out and talk about being entrepreneurs, did they?
No, I didn't think so.
You had kids talking about, I got bars. I got bars.
Right.
I can do this. I can do that. Follow me on Snapchat. You know, let me know. Da-da-da-da-da. Because we were just thinking we're going to come down there. These going to be some kids sitting in the row classrooms, and we're going to be talking. No, these kids was interactive. And it was refreshing to them. And when we were told that it was the best career day that they had had in 5 years, of course it made me feel good. But I'm thinking to myself, what happened for the other 4 years?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
when I think about things, I don't think about just right now. I'm thinking about what happened with them other 4 years. Y'all didn't get what y'all was supposed to get? How come I wasn't invited then? But then I don't have to worry about that because I'm going to take care of these next 4 years. And then we keep moving. And then when you move, because I know you're moving, I know you're going to leave me, I know you're going to jump off down to the dirty at some point, because that's where the love is. What you do, you need to be where the love is. You need to be where people respect your talents.
For real.
That's where you need to be. And unfortunately, they don't respect that here because you know why we're spoiled? Right as we're running out of it. We ain't even got to the west side yet, but we're running out of it.
Right.
Motown spoiled Detroit. Motown was the biggest music conglomerate in the world at one time, and it no longer exists as it was. And you got some of the most talented individuals in music still in the city of Detroit stuck because we got complacent. And when Motown left, nobody decided to make another Motown.
Right.
Keep the beat moving. The Motown sound, yeah, it went west. I mean, Barry went west, but did the music really have to stop? That's for you now. Yeah. That's what you do. And everything else around it. You're not just a rapper. You are going to do everything, lock, stock, and barrel in the music business because that's what you want to do. And that's what you're not going to let anybody talk you out of. That's what it's about. It's not just about that you do music. You're going to do the music business. Right.
The right way.
The right way. And that's what the kids needed to hear. They needed to hear that. They wanted bars. They wanted bars. But you see the way I kept dangling that carrot out there? Who got questions? You got some questions? We're gonna dangle that carrot, man. We're gonna give you this knowledge. We're gonna drop that science. But you get your show. They wanted the show, right?
Yeah,
we gave them the show. Everybody gonna see these videos and everything. So we gave them the show, but we gave them the show after you dropped the science. Because you gotta bring them in.
Right.
Open them up, give them the science, then let them enjoy. And that's what you did today.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you did today. You was just as nervous as they were. I saw it. Yeah. I kick in and answer a little question and break it up, say something stupid, make the kids laugh, breaks you down. By the time you're ready to flow, you so relaxed, you just, I say jiggy because I'm old, but that's what it is. But I didn't want you to bust a rhyme right at the beginning. Because ain't nobody ready. You know how rappers come out and they like to talk to the crowd. How y'all doing? This, that, and the other. Right. You don't never see a rapper just come out. They announce his name and he comes out. He want to get loose. Right. You want to talk to the crowd. You want to see who's in the crowd. This, that, and the other. You want to see who you were working with. 6th, 7th, 8th graders. You want to see who you're working with. And our best classes were the 6th graders.
Yeah.
They were the most candid.
Yeah.
You know? So that was a beautiful thing. That was a beautiful thing.
They was lit.
Was ridiculous.
They was lit, man. And their energy was there.
Yeah.
I could see in their eyes that they believe they can do whatever they want to do.
Absolutely. Nobody's killed that spirit yet.
Yeah. And it's just beautiful.
Nobody's killed that spirit. And they kill that spirit in us as adults.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody killed their spirit yet. And since they had us out today, now it's up to them to follow you on Snapchat, IG, and all that stuff, you know. And I want to make sure that they looked at your stuff. They don't need to follow nothing that I do. I do some grown stuff, you know. They don't need to see none of it. They needed to be where you are at. Because this ain't about my generation.
Right.
This is about their generation. And they look up to people like you. That's why I told you last night, swag it out.
Yeah.
I need you to swag it out. Don't come in there looking like me. I'm going to come in there looking like a nerd. I'm gonna wear the billionaire wardrobe. Polo, khakis, and gym shoes. That's what I'm going to wear so they can understand. Because I'm not a billionaire, not a millionaire, hell, retired a thousandaire today. But you got to understand, I got the mind of it all.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's coming. It's coming. I know it's coming. Sooner than we think. The biggest thing for them is, it's so far down the line, 10 more people are going to try to kill it before we can ever get back to them.
But see, once we connect with them, and once we make this consistent where we can speak to them on a monthly basis,
Yes, sir.
You know, we'll start helping them build for their future right now. There's nothing in life that says that you can't start obtaining wealth just because you're under 18. But
They make us think that,
they
though.
really make us think that, though.
You hear about every now and then, you hear about these teenage or preteen
Like
millionaires.
1 in a trillion.
1 in a trillion. But when you do see the black teenage, preteen millionaire, it's 1 a gazillion.
And they always from Chicago.
And they always from Chicago.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Detroit got to step it up.
You know, I mean, I know that there's more kids out here that have skills than what they show of color.
Yeah.
And this isn't condemning anybody else. And I ain't got to justify any of this shit because I was down at an African academy today. So there wasn't no white students there.
Right.
And I told them that I grew up in a white community. And I went to a school that was predominantly white. And there was more black kids in that class, that particular class, than were in all my classes at some time.
Right.
I had no problem with telling them that. And they couldn't fathom that because they don't see a white kid in their school. I walked all the way through that school today, front to back, and only saw one white man.
Yeah.
And that was the guy the kid brought.
Yeah, camera guy.
You know, so my thing is, you have a situation where you know who you are as a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know who you are as a businessman. Why you holding on to that, man? Get rid of that. Put that kid in them kids' ears and let them see it. Let them hear it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you stalling them out on the knowledge.
Yeah.
What you gonna do with all the knowledge? You don't need all the knowledge. They need the knowledge. You got the knowledge. So at 47, I pour into 23, twice the age. At 23, you pour into 11, 12-year-olds. There you go.
Twice that.
It's doubling up. You twice their age, I'm twice your age. If I had somebody who was 94 to be able to talk to me, I'd talk to him. That's what you do. That's how you get that wisdom. Everybody don't understand that you can get wisdom outside of the church.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can even get wisdom outside of a conventional school. It's about what we do, man. Because they see us every day. And that kind of leads me to something else. And I know some video. You got a video going, so you know, the cops.
Yeah.
I wasn't really going to talk about it, you know, because I ain't going to say nothing negative because they came there to do a positive thing.
Yeah.
But as I said, as we was real, we had some DPS in there. DPD, I'm sorry, not DPS, Detroit Public Schools. They don't like that school, Detroit Public Schools, I'm sure, because they teaching them the real.
Right.
We had DPD in there today. And all due respect to the DPD, y'all sent out 3 very, very good officers.
Polished.
Very polished officers. But on the real. Because I'm me, right?
Right.
Can I holler?
No, let them know, huh?
It was bullshit. And the reason it was bullshit was they weren't able to be real. You got to understand me when I say it was bullshit, because I respect the sister who was the leader and then the 2 brothers who kind of played second and third fiddle. Not a problem. I saw the one brother had stripes. He should have been the leader, as they say. But she was the leader. Not a problem. Because she was the most boisterous.
Right.
She was the most confrontational. She was, to be honest with you, I was going to do that. I ain't gonna do that. Because that's jacked up. Sorry, y'all, I digress. That was a traffic situation. She was very aggressive, let's just say. She was very aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay. She made the kids shut down at first. I didn't particularly like that. Okay? She made them shut down because she said, I'm all about control. No shit. You got a gun and a badge. You're all about control. We know this. You don't have to tell that. But it's what you expel to these children is how they're going to respond to you. So at that point, once she told them that she was all about control, and then they had to stand up every time they talked, they had to say their name every time they talked, she put them right back into the environment that they're in every day.
Man, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I really wish they would have, like, one of them would have said, like, I have a high passion for saving people's lives and making my communities safer. Like, I didn't hear that come out their mouth.
Not one time.
Not one time, and it's like, it's just sad. And you know, but I think the lady did have a strong testimony about how she was an ex-criminal and how, like, you know.
She said she wasn't a good person.
Well, she didn't never say that ex-criminal. She said she wasn't a good person.
She wasn't a good person.
You're right.
Said, which I take as you were a criminal.
Ex-criminal, yeah. I mean,
you were a criminal.
Let's be real.
And there's not a problem with you being a criminal, but you got to understand, if you were a criminal, say you were a criminal, goddammit. Yeah, don't say you weren't a good person.
Yeah, be real.
Because a person that says they weren't a good person is a bad person, and a person that's a bad person is a goddamn criminal. So say you were a criminal, now you're a cop. I did bad, now I'm doing good. Did bad in the hood, now I'm doing good in the hood. No. Put it all together. Make it understandable to these kids.
What about when the kids asked her if she ever shot somebody their age? Because you remember that, right?
You know I remember that. You know I remember that. I'm trying not to wreck and go off. You know what? I'm going straight back to the deuce. You'd asked me the question. I thought I was going to do something detour. No, I was going to go to try to get these packages, man. But the kid asked her. It was a young lady.
Yeah.
She asked her. She stood up very eloquently and stood up and said, "Have you ever shot anybody young?" And she said, "What do you mean by young?"
No.
You think I remember now?
I'm sorry. She said, "Do you ever shot a child?"
A child.
And yes. She said, "I'm somebody's
Thanks
child."
Thanks for the correction there.
Yeah.
She said, what's your definition of a child? Because everybody's somebody's child. And then she said, somebody my age. Mm-hmm. Then it got quiet. So at that point, once again, she had the opportunity to look that girl in the eye and say, unfortunately, I have had to shoot someone your age or close to your age or a teenager, you know, because I was doing my job. And that girl would have taken that information. She'd have said, that's some real shit.
If she would have said that.
If she had said, I said if.
Yeah, all right.
They heard me.
Okay.
I don't study me. They heard if she'd have said that. But she chose not to say that. Now, since she chose not to say that, and I'm trying to stay bullshit free this week so I can get these stitches right, what did she say?
You want me to answer that?
You're the only one here!
She said, forgive me. She said, if I was to have shot somebody, I would never admit it. I would never say that to you because that's not what we want to represent at the Detroit Police Department.
What the fuck is that? If you had shot somebody, you wouldn't admit it?
That's verbatim.
Verbatim, she said that. If I had shot somebody, I wouldn't admit it. Okay? So, basically what you're telling me is, you done knocked off a few motherfuckers and don't nobody know about it? Maybe it was justifiable gunfire. Maybe you were trying to protect a fellow officer who was down and had been hit by the assailant. Maybe you thought that was the assailant and it was just, you shot the wrong person. Maybe even they had a sandwich in their hand and you thought it was a gun. I see that in the movies a lot, and it's all those stories are always derived off of real stories. Nigga, you work for the Detroit Police Department and you've been there for several years. I know damn well you done shot somebody.
All right, this is how I feel. Now, the police department really want for our youth to trust them and to like kind of just abide by the rules. You know,
yeah, because I want to show my text and what you sent me, but I ain't gonna show it because I don't want you to get no intel on it.
I mean, because at the end of the day, it's like they're teaching the kids like to be dishonest.
Flat out.
Like you're so now none of these kids will ever turn themselves in.
Hell no.
Like not after that lesson they got straight from the police. So the police told them make sure you cover your stuff.
Wait a minute. What about this? What about when the young lady said, what if somebody's breaking in my house?
Yep.
What if somebody's breaking in my house and I know how to use the gun because my daddy told me I know how to use the gun. She had already told us. That was at the beginning of this gun. Who's used the gun? Who's used the gun with adults' permission? Who's gone to a gun range? She knows how to use a firearm. She's already told us that, right?
Yeah.
She said, what if somebody's breaking in and I'm home alone and I know where the gun's at and I know how to use it? What do I do? Once again, dead fucking air. I'm in the broadcasting business by trade. Ain't been in the broadcasting business in about 17 years, but goddamn it, I know dead air when I hear it. And 3 police officers sat there and said nothing. They didn't say, protect yourself. They didn't say, call 911, protect yourself.
OG had to say something.
OG had to say something.
With his polished.
And his ass was polished. He was more polished than the one who was leading the whole seminar for the police officers.
Yeah, for sure.
And he politicked his way out of it to the point where he basically had told her, you still shouldn't use the firearm. So basically what he was telling that young sister, you not only don't use the firearm, you not only are subjecting yourself to some possible harm, you rely on the DPD to get there when they know they don't get there expeditiously. You do nothing. Another black girl dead in Detroit, home burglarized, home alone, da-da-dee-da-da-da.
Next story.
No! I wish she had asked my ass that. If you know how to use the gun, if you've taken lessons, if you've gone to the gun range, because some of the kids had gone, she was one of the kids that had gone to the gun range with her parents. Bust a cap in his ass.
Kneecap.
If you don't have a key to come in my house, I'm busting a cap in your ass. She was 12 years old. She was very articulate. She was obviously responsible enough to know where the gun was, and she was going to put herself in a position that if they come through that door, bust a cap in his ass.
But she was responsible enough to even ask the question to the law enforcement. I wouldn't have asked because I already know what's up.
No.
I'd have never asked that question, even in my youth.
No. And they asked, and they got told that. They got told to not even defend yourself. Protect yourself. They got told something totally the opposite of that.
They really never got an answer for that question.
They never got an answer for that. That's why I didn't say they didn't get what they wanted. She didn't say, don't protect yourself. He didn't say, don't protect. They got something totally off the wall.
These officers never used the words yes or no.
Yes or no.
Never.
Politicians.
And all their questions was yes or no questions.
I'm like, it's POLIC, but after that, because really, it was POLIT.
Yeah.
Because it was a POLI politician and not a POLIC police officer. That's where that whole grammar shit come in, that word shit that I spat with them today. They need to understand all the stuff that I was telling them today, like I told you. None of that shit was gonna be the same. I ain't writing nothing down. I got 6 words written on my memo pad. And how many times did I open my phone? I didn't have my phone with me when I was talking because I know what I'm talking about. But what they did today to those kids was dishonest. It was dishonest. And I understand that they're just trying to come, you know what, once you say, I wasn't prepared to talk to nobody over the age of 6. Why? Because black kids ain't getting past the age of 6. You should have been. Did you hear it? Remember that?
I just don't think they came there with the same purpose we came there with. We came there to enlighten these kids and to pour into these kids, and they just came there to do their job.
But ain't that what they came there to do?
No, they came there to do their job. That's part of their job.
Oh,
talk to the kids, go home.
So that ain't my job. That ain't my fucking job to take care of these kids. I mean, see, their problem is they on the clock.
Yeah.
But you know what the fuck I is? I'm on the clock too.
For yourself.
I'm on the clock. I don't get a check for it today though. I'll get paid tomorrow. Niggas ain't got that. Niggas didn't register that right there. I know a lot of people don't like to word nigga when I say it. I might not get a check for it today, but I'm gonna get paid tomorrow. Understands me?
Yeah.
That's just where we're at. That's where we're at in society, dude. They don't understand us, so it's hard for them to represent us. Ooh. It's gonna be tough because I know got a lot of cops on my timeline. It means they don't know how to protect us.
Oh, heck no, they don't know how to protect us. I've never felt protected by the police. I've always felt threatened by the police.
I mean, and I'm not saying that those are bad cops because by now, I got a picture up on Facebook right now, or Instagram, whatever it's gonna be, with the cops. I done put it up. By now, this video, by the time we just break this video down, I done put that picture up. So I'm gonna tell you. Niggas are, oh, there was a nigga taking pictures with cops for it. Niggas, I was at a school on career day, nigga. What was you doing? You ain't never seen me walk out of a motherfucking police station except for paying tickets. So if you see me with the DPD, I ain't somewhere snitching. So can that bullshit. Who am I snitch on? Your bitch ass? What am I snitch on? I mean, motherfuckers want to talk about I'm snitching or somebody snitching out here. Nigga, who am I snitching on? And if I'm snitching, why am I still around? If I'm snitching, I'm gone. I got 10 destinations to go if I ever wanted to become a snitch, and niggas couldn't find me. And 9 of them is just right outside of Washington County because niggas don't leave Washington County. But I'd be there to support these brothers, as I told them, be safe out here. We know how it is out here with y'all. I was letting them know the real.
I told them I appreciate what they do, you know, because I've never really had problems with Detroit Police Department.
No.
It's always been Washington.
I ain't never got fucked with. I didn't grow up in Washington, in Detroit, so I don't get fucked with. I'm a grown man, so I go out there now. But in Ann Arbor, Pittsfield Township, Dipsy, that's whoever I've had to deal with. Deputies, that's whoever I've had to deal with. But DPD always played me straight. And I got a couple cats who work for DPD, retired from DPD. Good cats. Sold cars to some DPD cats. Good cats. There's some dirty motherfuckers out there, let's be honest. But today we have politics in there. And I don't need politics for these kids. I know they probably think they did the beautiful thing. And truthfully, they did because they showed up. They needed some black men and women to show up.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
They showed up. I'm gonna give them the credit. Nope. I'm gonna give them the credit there. This is where 47. This is where 47 wisdom is different than the 23 wisdom. They did show up, but god damn it, you right.
Man, no.
Yeah, I know you right. That's why I said they did their thing. But tell them why you feeling the way you feeling, because you gonna hit them with the real too.
Well, I feel the way I feel because I've had terrible experiences with the police.
Okay.
You know, and it wasn't DPD.
Right.
It wasn't. It was Washington County.
Right.
And you know, it's just like terrifying things. Like I had a cop before. I used to clean up a dealership for a lady in my church, and I'd be out there. I finish up around about midnight. So about 11:30, he pull up in the parking lot. He pull up on me, you know, in the garage. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I tell him I work here. He said, "Okay, what time is it?" Me being 16, young and dumb, I reach in my pocket to grab my phone. He grabbed his pistol. And like my mama told me, I stood there and was like a deer in headlights. You know what I'm saying? But like, that just showed me like, he set that up.
Yeah.
Like, I thought about it. Why wouldn't I just, he got a watch. He got a whole computer in his car.
Right.
But you know, it's just like that type of stuff that they do to us, and people wonder why, you know, some people have, you know, not the best love for the police.
Right.
You know, but I did tell the DPD officers, I said, I appreciate what y'all do, because I know I couldn't do it.
Right.
And God makes special people to me,
right,
who would risk their life for the betterment of the community.
Right.
I'm risking my life for the ones in my household. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not with it. But you know, respect to them, even though they was janky. But respect to them.
Yeah, and we are not discrediting the Detroit public or the Detroit Police Department. Please understand that. We are not saying anything negative about the Detroit Police Department, because I still got to fuck with them. I still got to go down here, you know, and do what we do. So I don't want to, when we go through there, to be like, oh yeah.
Remember that video?
Yeah, remember that video you put out there? Yeah, okay. Good luck walking to your car tonight, whatever. I don't want that type of vibe. But I want them to understand they got to give these kids the real.
Yeah.
And if they don't give them the real, what they doing it for? I mean, the guns and the badge and everything, I understand, and you know, they're protected and serving, and I understand. But tell these kids what they really need to hear, because you may have some future police officers in your midst. You may have a future police chief in your midst. But be real with them, because if they don't think that they can be real and still be a police officer, law enforcement's gonna dwindle, and they'll be out here begging for cops like they always are. You need people running into the police department, not being coerced to get there as a career. Police officer, it should be a good profession, and they should be paid a hell of a lot more than they're paid, and there wouldn't be so many dirty motherfucking cops. There wouldn't be so many motherfuckers rousting out dealers and shit like that, and breaking in blind pigs and shit like that, and even setting up motherfucking crimes and establishments with people running criminal enterprises as police officers if they were paid a decent wage. And then, you know what, since you got a gun and a badge by trade, goddammit, we're gonna let you go on out here and do your thing and be security teams and this, that, and the other, and get that money that way. But they don't want them to do shit like that. They want to hold on to them. Nah, let them maximize what they got. If they're a marksman, they don't want his ass being a sniper, protecting the president. Like she said, she got to protect the president. the president's car. She wasn't even around Barack Obama. She was around the beast. That's what she was around. But that was a part of her duty. She didn't get paid no more to do that. Outsource that shit. You contracted in it to protect the beast. Police department just passed that contract right onto yours, but you still a DPD police officer. Get into doing shit like that. Then you ain't got to be no dirty ass cop and steal money and shit. That's all I got.
That's real. But back on the positive note.
Yes, sir.
So, in conclusion, your interaction with the kids today, if you had to grade it, how would you grade it?
I think my interaction with them was a B.
Okay.
Because I was nervous. I didn't know exactly what to expect. I can come off as if I'm not nervous, but I was nervous because, truthfully, the last time I tried to do anything remotely close to this, you know, I was a couple 100 pounds more, man. You know, so I couldn't even come off that same way. Stood there, stood behind a podium and leaned most of the time. Right. You know, but I had energy today.
Oh yeah.
I walked through the tables and the desk. You know, I felt good that they were feeling what I was feeling. And what I was feeling just wasn't, you know, being there because Ola wanted me there. Being there because I felt like just getting out of the house. I had cabin fever. I did though. But the reason I was there because I know that there's so much more in them than they'll ever see unless somebody tries to bring it out. It's like, you know, and hopefully, did you tape me in, was it Taz?
Yeah.
Taj?
Yeah, Taj, yep.
Taj. I gotta see that video, man. I gotta see that. Because I know I'm gonna cry because I see something in him and it's already getting pushed back because of his size, his weight. But what he has, man, is he has a desire. And he almost knows that being that big and that young
is gonna benefit him.
But he don't really believe it just yet. It's up to me to make him believe it. Because even, as they call him Baba O, Tunji, even Baba O can't teach him that because Baba O ain't never been where he's been. Right. Baba O's always been in very good shape, reasonably good shape, somewhat good shape. Right. I've lived most of my life out of shape. And right now, he's close to being out of shape at 12. He's a sixth grader. And he's just massive. But he's a beautiful presence because his mind's there already. He wants to do these things.
And you can tell he got a good heart in him.
He's got a good heart, man. Good heart, good soul. So I'm going to get with young brother Taj. And as we used to call Toon's baby bull, we going to be calling that to him.
Yeah, but you know, even the fact that you take this as your responsibility, like you see this great potential in this young man, and you see some adversity there with him too, but a lot of people will look at him and keep it moving. A lot of people will never take ownership of that. Like, you know what? It's
because a lot of people ain't me.
That's
and
real.
A lot of people ain't you.
That's real.
See, that's the problem. You got teachers